Hello and welcome back, or welcome to Kids Invent Stuff.
Yeah, we've had a lot of love and support for the channel and a few new faces, so we thought we would just reintroduce ourselves. So I'm Ruth.
And I'm Shawn, and this is the YouTube channel where we bring to life invention ideas designed by kids.
And so far we've brought to life almost 70 kids
70?
Invention ideas.
Is it really 70?
70.
That's mental.
We've brought to life at least one invention every single month since the start of 2017.
I mean, we've been busy.
We have been busy. We film that whole process in family-friendly videos, which you can find on this channel. And we also have a website where 4 to 11-year-olds can submit invention ideas as pictures or videos. And on that website, we have a worksheet with resources for teachers and parents.
So every single month we set a different themed invention challenge, and we pick an invention idea that's been sent to us to bring to life. So we've built everything from 11-year-old Lila's idea for a popcorn firing doorbell to 8-year-old True's idea for a sparkly rainbow ride-on unicorn that poops jelly beans.
We've built 7-year-old Eric's jam firing rocket. And we've built 11-year-old Alex's furry electric dog car, just to name a few of the 70.
So one of our favourite times of every single month is when we get to see all the invention ideas we've been sent, and we get to go through them and work out which one we're going to bring to life.
Hey, Ruth and Shawn from Kids Inventions Stuff.
I'd like to submit an invention.
This is my crime-fighting suit.
I have chose a piano for my crazy instrument. I'm Flo, and this is my morning machine.
My invention here is the pedaling taco bar.
Shawn and I started all of this mainly because we just don't want other people to miss out on a career that they might love. So I actually accidentally became an inventor. Growing up, I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. I ended up inventing something while I was at school. I won an engineering award and got thrown into this whole amazing world of engineering. And I realised looking back now that I always should have been an engineer or a maker or an inventor, but I just never saw myself on the TV shows that I watched that were all about making or engineering. I never saw anyone really that was like me on there. And it took something completely random happening for me to end up in this career doing this job. So I'm really passionate. I think there are lots of young people out there who might not realise that they would make really good engineers and makers. And so I've kind of made it my mission to show as many young people as possible how exciting engineering and making is. Because one of my biggest fears is how close I came to not doing this job. And I love this job so much.
We both very nearly didn't become engineers, but in slightly different ways. So for me, as a kid, I was always the kind of kid who played with Lego and took things apart, and I guess I was, in some ways, traditionally, you might see me as someone who might be likely to become an engineer. But when it came to school, particularly sort of the end of high school, I found it really tricky when it came to things like exams. So I'm dyslexic, and for me, my dyslexia affects my memory. So I often forget things, which is something that Ruth's well aware of when we're filming. And she'll be like, oh, Shawn, don't forget to say this thing. And then we'll start filming and I'll just be like, I have no idea what that thing is. So I find it really hard to hold information in my head and to remember lots of stuff. And when I was at school, I basically failed some exams because I just couldn't hold all this information in my head. My brain just didn't work that way. So I decided I wanted to be an engineer, and I thought going to university would be a route to doing that. Unfortunately, I didn't get the exams I needed to go to uni to study engineering because I'd basically failed.
But I came to the rescue,
Ruth,
so it's fine.
Ruth did. Ruth came to the rescue. So I met Ruth at an engineering competition, and Ruth ended up judging that, and I was lucky enough because of a teacher at school. The crazy thing that I built at school got entered into that competition, and I ended up in the final of that competition, and Ruth was one of the judges in that final. And I ended up winning. So in 2010, I was the UK Young Engineer of the Year, and suddenly it didn't matter that I had failed a load of exams at school and I didn't have the grades to go to uni and study engineering. I got in because of this competition that Ruth helped judge.
And I never went to uni, so don't feel like you have to go to university to be an engineer.
And I felt like there was a loophole. I felt like I'd got in
There
by
was.
the back door. Yeah, no, it really felt like that. And I still now, I feel immensely lucky that I'm sat here, I'm a qualified engineer. I get to do engineering for my work on this channel, and I wouldn't be qualified in enengineering. I wouldn't have...
If it wasn't for me.
It wasn't partly for Ruth, but also
Not
partly...
that I regularly remind Shawn or anything.
Only occasionally. If it wasn't for the opportunity I had and a teacher at school and the opportunity that I had to invent something and to make something and to feel like my ideas were valued, I would not be an engineer today.
When we came up with Kids Invent Stuff, it actually came out of two bits of research. A bit of research that showed that young people, particularly girls, form their ideas on careers super early. In the UK, we have a massive skills shortage, so we do not have enough scientists and engineers. And in fact, within engineering, only 14% of engineers are women. When that piece of research came out, like, that was a real moment for Shawn and I of like, oh wow, like, primary school age, like 4 to 11-year-olds are being put off engineering and making because they are not seeing themselves represented, they are not feeling like this community is for them, and that's really sad.
And that research came out around the same time as this data that showed for the first time that kids were spending more time watching content on YouTube than they were watching mainstream, like, terrestrial TV. We take that for granted now, that kids spend a lot of the time on YouTube, but at the time that was something that was kind of new and novel. So we were like, okay, we need to do something that engages young kids starting as young as 4 or 5 with themes around science and engineering. We need to do it on YouTube, and that's kind of the beginning of the sort of seeds of the idea that Kids Invent Stuff was born out of.
It was kind of this crazy idea that we had. We have said this before, but we live in opposite ends of the country.
We live 300 miles apart.
So I think it was like July, I got in my car and I drove to Cornwall, and Shawn and I had a go at filming this pilot, which is actually on our channel if you want to laugh.
It's interesting.
It's 7-year-old Lucy's custard firing superhero suit. That was the first thing that we ever built on this channel.
So we self-funded a pilot, and that was the pilot, Lucy's custard firing superhero suit. So we just got old cameras we had and phones, and we dressed Ruth up as a superhero in a lovely yellow outfit, and she fired lots of custard at me. And actually, we made a bit of an engineering error when we were filming that, in that we forgot that custard is a non-Newtonian fluid, so it thickens up on impact. So Ruth, what did you do? What did you fire at me, Ruth?
So I essentially fired these, like, water balloons of custard at Shawn that felt really soft until they hit Shawn, and then they felt like stones.
So I was dressed as a ninja. Ruth was firing these balloons full of custard at me. When they hit me, they were like rocks. I ended up with, if anyone's ever done paintball, I ended up with like giant round bruises from custard.
The things we do for the channel.
So that was our first introduction to the world of YouTube. So yeah, we self-funded that, we did that, and then we just kind of put it out there and just kind of hoped that someone might want to watch it, and that there might be someone who might want to fund us to make some more videos to try and engage kids with engineering.
And we're really lucky because we have the backing of some amazing engineering education organisations, some fantastic businesses who do support our work, and we would not have been able to create this channel without them. They also bought into our vision of wanting to celebrate kids' invention ideas.
And I guess the other thing to add is that we recently started a Patreon, so we now have some amazing people who are probably watching today.
Thank you.
Who support us and help us to build more kids' ideas, to reach more people. So thank you so much if you're a Patreon, a patron of this channel. Yeah, we love you guys, and it means so much that you appreciate what we do and that you support what we do. And if you want to become a patron of this channel, then we will put the link in the description and on the screen.
So this channel is a labour of love for us.
I mean, it quite literally was labour at one point. So when we built our Ruth won't say this. When we built our sparkly pooping 8-year-old True's idea for the sparkly pooping rainbow unicorn, Ruth was literally having a baby at the same time. So
I had to be escorted out of the workshop to go give birth.
So if anyone wants to watch the build video for that, we'll link it somewhere.
Most of it was filmed in between me having contractions.
Ruth is literally having a baby, and the same day that our unicorn was born, Ruth's little boy was born.
They share the same birthday. A lot of the things that we build, we don't have massive budget. We're lucky to have some budget, but we don't have massive budgets. We don't have a massive team. A lot of the time there is just Shawn and I, unless we can somehow find more budget to bring in friends. We do everything you see: building, filming, editing,
It's all us.
asking people for money, the whole thing.
And we build most of our Kids Inventions in about 4 or 5 days, so they're quite like, it's small time scale, small
Intense,
budget.
long hours.
Our friend Colin Furs always laughs at us because he's just like, what are you doing? Just like, we're like frantic. So when we built the bunk bath with
That's
Colin,
the longest we've ever spent on an invention. We spent on and off 3 weeks. We all lived together, and I've never spent so long on an invention.
Colin's like meticulously there, like just got to get everything's just right. And normally for us, we're like, oh God, there's not enough money, there's not enough time, we're trying to get it done. So it was fun taking the Colin Furs approach to building an invention.
Yeah, a lot of our builds, if you watch things like our giant cake racer, we literally spent 40 hours straight making that thing, and at the end of it we were so delirious. Luckily we had about a day to recover before we raced it. You can see that in some of our videos, like we are a little sleep deprived. And this is really a community. Shawn and I build the things, but this isn't really our channel because the ideas that we build belong to the kids, and all of this is like a journey. And so we feel really grateful for our community because we all own this together and we all make this happen.
So we get comments about people, about kids who've been struggling with their confidence at school, been finding school really tricky, and then suddenly there's a boost to their confidence because they've seen their idea brought to life on this channel, and that makes the whole point of this channel. Like that is the reason we're here, and that makes our job so joyous.
There is something that young people have, and if they can keep hold of it, there's just so much potential in that. And one of the saddest things that we see is when that is stamped out of young people, that imagination, that creativity, that problem solving.
There are some incredible channels out there, both big and small, who do an amazing job at reaching young people and actually just the wider
adults.
community. Yeah, everybody, reaching everybody in terms of promoting the opportunities, the careers, but also just kind of fun stuff that's out there in the world around us.
So the maker community is so supportive, and it doesn't matter the size of your channel. I think we had 600 subs when the Hacksmith reached out and was like, we like what you do. Like, that's amazing. And we see it in the comments, you know, there are people that we have never met, but we know by name, we know about their projects, they know about ours, and it's just such an amazing community.
And actually those people who help each other, those are the things that make the YouTube Maker community so amazing. Like people care so much, and they're supporting each other, and we want to see each other succeed, and that makes it such a joyful place to work.
And I think as well, when we see other makers succeed out of the platform, that's what everyone wants. We want more mainstream media to see our amazing community, but it can be quite sad when that diversity of the community is not represented. And I think others feel that as well. I don't think that's just something that we feel. We see how amazing and diverse this community is, and we want the rest of the world to see that as well.
We got into this because we felt like there were some things missing. We wanted to see more opportunities for young people to feel like they could become engineers. We wanted to help address that problem. And it's the nice thing about like big mainstream stuff like TV and streaming services and things is that actually there's an opportunity there to do stuff with a bigger budget. You know, we're just two people. We do what we can do, and we do it in the way that we can with the time we have available. But actually, when you've got big resources and there are kind of big organisations involved, there's a huge opportunity to reach more people and to do things in an even more diverse way. And it can be frustrating when there's a missed opportunity.
We think it's important that what people see on screen represents this amazing community that we're part of.
So we're well aware of the irony of us sat here talking about diversity when we are two straight white cis engineers, but actually we think there's a responsibility that we all have if we have any kind of platform. If you have any kind of following online, doesn't matter if it's big or small, we all have a responsibility to be representative of the communities we're part of, but also to give opportunities and to show and to celebrate the diversity of the wider communities around us. And the bigger your following is, ultimately the more power and therefore the more responsibility you have to make examples and to to ultimately show people just how diverse the communities we're part of can be.
So if you've got this far, thank you. We appreciate this is a very different video.
We haven't made anything at all today.
We are going to. We are about to go build something. But we've recently felt a lot of love and support from this community, and we just wanted to explain to you why we do this, and we're really grateful that you're on this journey with us.
And if you are watching and you have any small people in your life, any kids aged 4 to 11, you might have a niece, a nephew, a brother, a sister. If you know anybody who you think might like their invention idea brought to life, then you can send them to our website, plug, which will appear on the screen below, and those kids can have a chance to have their ideas brought to life on this channel.
Next video, we promise, will be normal. We'll be making things.
We'll do less talking and more drilling and welding and just generally messing around with stuff.
What could possibly go wrong?
Look, that's my line.
Bye!
Don't forget to like and subscribe.